Well, it is the most anticipated list in Australian basketball. It's the list that has everyone talking. It has some people very happy. It has some people very unhappy with where they rank. This is Derek Rucker's top 15 as we lock and load for NBL 26. You must be out of your mind, Derek Rucker, to want to do this all over again.
Well, thank you, Jack. And I'm so excited for this list. It is extremely difficult. It's getting harder as we go through the list each season. And with the depth of the NBL rosters, Jack, this was a task that I didn't think I would effectively get done. But now that it's in, I think it is the best list I've done thus far.
Oh, do you really?
Yes, I do. This is a fantastic list. And alongside that, Jack, this is the most talented NBL season that we have ever seen. The rosters are so plentiful, and I just can't wait to get not only into this list, but into NBL 26.
So let's just try and explain this a little bit. For those who haven't seen this list before, it's a monumental task. Derek, before the start of each season for the last 3 years now, has gone and ranked the top 15 players in the NBL. How are you doing this with guys that you haven't seen before?
Well, that's a good question, because with guys I haven't seen before, I've discounted them this season, Jack. Last year I was burned. I got burned bad by a couple of imports that came into the league who I thought were going to be very good. They showed up either out of shape or injured. So if I haven't seen you, then you are going to be almost weighted in such a negative manner that you probably can't feature in the top 15 list this season. Now, it doesn't rule them out for subsequent lists, but I'm not getting burned like I did last season.
The other part to this is what is important to you, because everyone's going to have their own top 15 and everyone's going to have their own ideas about who ranks where. When you sit down and you do this, and this has taken you 2-3 weeks to do, what are the important factors for you?
You must be an outstanding basketball player. That's number one. And that just doesn't mean that you're a great scorer or shooter. I take into the full complement of your skill set. You must be a winning player. That certainly helps too. And there's some measurables, there's some advanced metrics that I look into that assist in that regard. You have to have box office. You must be palatable as a player. You must have a certain charisma as a player. So there's just so much that goes into it, and that's why compiling this list is such a monumental effort and something that I'm always proud of.
And speaking of box office, you know it's important when he wears the white jacket as well. He's not messing around today. That's crisp.
Thank you, Jack.
Hey, before we finish this, don't forget, of course, you can jump online, leave us your thoughts. This is 15 through 6 today. Coming up in the next day or two, you will see 5 through 1 in Derek Rucker's top 15. Don't forget to hit us up on all of our social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, however you want to reach out to Derek and leave your thoughts. We will also talk a little bit later on about those who missed the list and why a couple of them missed the list. The other, and we're not blowing this up in any way, shape or form, this is a truism, is that the players see this list. They might say that they don't, but they do. And they give you some pretty direct feedback, don't they?
They do, and I appreciate it because this is a learning process for me. I'm always trying to refine the list as we go through the season and make it better each time. I want it to be really accurate, but still authentic to how I view the league and what's important in players. Now, players, I realize they have a look at it. Some of them appreciate it, and I think they're really competitive. They want to be high up on the list. Parker Jackson Cartwright has admitted this. Now, I tell you who doesn't like the list, Jack. Coaches. Not fans of the list.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, you are on your own this year when it comes. We are sick of being your bodyguard. You can sort this out for yourself. Hit us up on social media. Let us know what you think. But without any further ado, let's get to number 15 in Derek's top 15.
Number 15 is Zylan Cheatham. He is an elite athlete who comes back into the league after a season away. He last appeared with the New Zealand Breakers, where he averaged 15 points a game at a 50-40 split. I expect Cheatham to have a real impact this season with the Adelaide 36ers. He could be the premier two-way player in the competition. Remember, the last time he was in the league, his coach, Moti Mayor, thought he was going to be the #1 player in the competition and perhaps the best defender.
Is he the most athletic player that we've got here in the league?
Without a doubt, Jack. This guy is just a pogo stick. He's got fantastic dunks. He can protect the rim. And he is the most overqualified third import we have ever seen in the NBL. And I think there will be patches of play this season where people look at him like, he may be the best player in any particular game this season for the Adelaide 36ers, and that's saying a lot.
And the interesting part about that is that everything we're hearing out of Adelaide, and we heard the same from New Zealand 2 years ago, this guy is a model teammate. This guy parks his ego, he works hard, and he's happy to facilitate for others, which in this volatile Adelaide lineup, he feels like the perfect guy.
And that's a great point, and full credit to Matt Weston for getting that done, understanding the personality needs of that team in order for them to be successful.
So what does success look like for Zylan Cheatham in an Adelaide team that has Bryce Cotton, Montrezl Harrell, Isaac Humphries, Dejan Vasiljevic? They've got offensive weapons all over the floor. How does this guy get the best out of himself in that team?
He needs to be very versatile on the defensive end, be able to guard perimeter players, be able to provide defensive interior presence, and also offensively understanding when he impacts the basketball game, finding ways to influence scoring when needed. He has a tough situation because he has to read in game and make adjustments as to how to play each particular game.
He's also going to put someone on a poster at some stage this season.
Yeah.
Someone is going to be on a poster for all of the wrong reasons.
If you haven't seen him dunk, get on YouTube, search Zylan Cheatham, and you will be entertained.
Oh, I can't wait for that one. Nice start from you to number 14.
Number 14 is Admiral Schofield of the Cairns Taipans. Now, I saw enough of him in the blitz. This guy is exceptionally good. He's thick, he's strong, he's athletic. He spent 4 seasons in the NBA, so he knows how to play at the highest level. He's just come out of the EuroLeague, and a great signing by Cairns Taipans head coach Adam Ford. Schofield, Jack, he's light on his feet. I think he's going to be able to play inside and outside and provide tremendous offensive versatility. He can play the 4, he can play the 5. He's going to blend in well with Sam Wardenberg. This guy, I would see him potentially being a top 5 player in the league. But right now, because I haven't seen enough of his work, I had to put him at number 14.
So based on what we've seen at the Blitz and obviously from what he's done in America, and based on the way that we know Adam Ford coaches, do you think that Admiral Schofield will thrive in an Adam Ford system?
No doubt. And I think the environment up there in Cairns where you get to really focus on basketball and there's not a lot of distractions and you have a great fan base and they're hungry for success up there. And I think Schofield's personality type is perfectly suited for how Adam Ford wants to win basketball games.
And even just some of those clips that we saw there from the Blitz, a couple of times he stepped out, shot the 3. A couple of times he took the ball down into the low block. So he feels like he's going to be a nightmare matchup.
So the 3-point shot is something that I've got my eye on. If he can shoot it at, say, above 37, 38%, that's just going to open up all the other aspects of his basketball game and make him a much more dangerous player.
This guy could be an absolute star. To number 13 in Derek Rucker's top 15.
Number 13 is another newcomer to the NBL, the left-handed, sweet, athletic, scoring Bryce Hamilton of the Tasmania Jack Jumpers. Averaged 17 points a game last season in Germany, Jack. Shown tremendous brilliance in the preseason. I think this guy is going to be a fan favorite down in Tasmania, and he's the perfect signing for what they need. The Jack Jumpers remodeled their starting lineup in this offseason, and bringing Bryce Hamilton in as the lead import, the guys that's going to be required to get most of their buckets, provide a lot of offensive productivity. Great signing, and he is an exciting prospect. If he gets off to a good start, I think he could carry that momentum to possibly being an MVP candidate.
Yeah, I know Pete Hooley will be watching this, and Pete Hooley's definitely got Bryce Hamilton as an All-NBL first teamer. The main question I have for you, is he capable both physically and mentally to be Tasmania's guy, to be their number 1, to be the guy that they go to in the deep periods of a game?
So Hooley and I interviewed him at the NBL launch in Melbourne, and he's a very quiet guy. From LA, went to UNLV. It doesn't really mesh, but by all accounts, he's a very soft-spoken guy and a great teammate, and he's a young professional. And I think as he finds his way into the NBL and gets accustomed to his Jack Jumpers teammates, that you'll see more of the vocal side of him, because you don't go and have the type of career he's had to date by just sitting back and being a timid player. This guy is a straight-out hooper.
I must admit, and I have seen your list, he could be the one. If we get back together around Christmas time or early in January, he could be the one that goes from 13 to top 3. That's how good this guy could be.
And also, circumstances within the Jack Jumpers team kind of are conducive to him having a massive year because his usage rate should be really high. He'll be able to get a lot of shots off. And Scott Roth, one of the understated aspects of his brilliance is his offensive architecture. He builds beautiful offensive sets, and they execute really well. And I think Hamilton is going to have a great chance to get big numbers this season.
I like where you've headed so far. A heavy import flavour to start the top 15. Who's next?
And it continues here. Number 12 is the Perth Wildcats' outstanding power forward, Christian Doolittle. Burst into a legit star status in the NBL 25 postseason. Big expectations this season after the Wildcats lose Bryce Cotton. He will step up and be required to be a top-flight import. He averaged 15 and 8 last season, shooting 52% from the field. And as I said, with increased usage will come increased defensive attention. So I'm going to be watching him closely to see how he handles that level of scouting from oppositions.
I can't think of, Derek, and you've been around a lot longer than I have, obviously, but I can't think of more of an endorsement from an organisation than what Perth have done for this guy. Re-signed him almost straight away, as soon as last season finished. 3-year deal. If that's not an organisation saying to someone, you are the new face of our franchise, you are our guy, then I don't know what is.
It's rare in world basketball nowadays for an import to sign a 3-year deal. So the Perth Wildcats really went out on a limb here. Not that Doolittle's not capable enough or talented enough, but nowadays player and team are often looking for the next thing. So while they have you there, they also have an eye on what's possible, and players are the same. They're looking for their next big paycheck. So great job on both sides, but Doolittle, I'm very curious to see how he pans out this season. Is he a first-team All-NBL guy, Jack? Remains to be seen.
Well, this is the obvious question, and the Red Army will be watching this, and they will be wondering very similar, I would think, that in any Perth offence, he's always been the number 2 guy, sometimes the number 3 in the teams that he's played in so far. There is no Bryce Cotton now, and this guy is the new number 1. Is he able to do that? Is he able to grab that and really run with it?
It's a tough one because they are so talented now. If you look at the Perth Wildcats starting lineup or potential starting lineup, you have Mason Jones, Ben Henschel, Dylan Windler, Christian Doolittle, and Joel Awala-Chul Jr.
It's good.
So while I think Doolittle has the potential to be a first-team All-NBL guy, circumstances may play out that from game to game, he doesn't get to shine as much, Jack. So it necessarily wouldn't be a knock on the caliber of his season. It just could come down to another teammate is going off in a particular game.
Underrated defensively, too, I think, with Christian Doolittle. There's the one thing about his game that I don't think we talk about enough.
And he's strong, physically strong, probably the best physique in the NBL.
Well, the import flavour continues. Let's go to number 11.
Number 11, okay. Now to the Aussies. Will Magnay, the most influential big man in the competition, going down in history, Jack, I believe, as one of the top 5 rim protectors or shot blockers in the NBL. No one blocks shots. No one has the timing. No one protects the rim like Will Magnay. He is a major key for the success of the Jack Jumpers. If we go back to Game 5 in NBL 24 Championship Series, Magnay was outstanding down the stretch and led the Jack Jumpers to that championship. Bottom line, Jack, he is a winning player.
Spot on. When he plays, they win. And if they don't win, they don't lose by much. And I think sometimes with Will Magnay, Derek, a lot gets lost in the fact because he can get injured from time to time and he does miss games. Think about what happens when he's actually on the floor, though. That's the important part.
Well, he's one of the top net rating guys in the NBL. When he's on the floor per 100 possessions last season, Tasmania are plus 16. That is top 3 or 4 in the competition, and that's why he is such a valuable piece. And I thought he should have made the NBA. So for him not to be in the NBA and return for the Jack Jumpers is a major green tick for the Jack Jumpers prospects in chasing another championship.
So for some of these guys, we talk about, what can they do to go further up your list, to go further up the pecking order? For Will, is it just about staying out there and then the rest will take care of itself?
Well, he missed almost all of the back half of NBL 25. If he stays on the floor, then he is an all-NBL first-team guy. Now, how does that happen? We've had this discussion about, do you load manage him? How do you play him early in the season? I would tread carefully with Magne over the first 7 to 8 rounds. Build him up nicely. Don't expose him to too much risk because the guy plays hard. He's one of the physically and mentally toughest players in the competition. So you have to kind of protect him from himself. He's highly competitive.
Which is interesting because in previous years, Will Magne has come into seasons underdone or has been injured. This time around in the preseason, he's gone to Europe. He's gone and had a little stint around the Summer League and then went and played Asia Cup. So he's actually played more basketball in this winter than perhaps what he has done for a couple of years.
Yeah, that's correct. And I think as Magne matures, he will become more cognizant of what he needs to do to ensure he gives himself the best chance to stay healthy. But there's no doubt, if you're looking for an Australian big man, Will Magne is number 1 or number 2 in your selection.
Let's get to number 10.
Number 10, this is a tough one that starts to get really, really hard, and I know this guy is not going to be happy with this choice. Number 10 is Casey Prather, the fine import from the Brisbane Bullets. If there was an award for Comeback Player of the Year, Casey Prather would have won this award unanimously. He was outstanding last season. If you go back and look at the game logs last season, in December and January, he scored better than anyone not named Bryce Cotton. Shot the ball exceptionally well and was awarded with a new 1-year deal. No one expected the level of productivity that Casey Prather displayed last season, and he was a second-team All-NBL selection. Great job by the Bullets and Prather to get back for NBL 26.
What a remarkable story this is. When Casey Prather was signed by Justin Schuller last season at the Brisbane Bullets, it kind of had a bit of that third import vibes about it, a guy that we know and we can trust, but there are questions about his body. He played a lot of games. And what about his three-point shooting, Derek? He kind of touched on that. He shot the lights out in the second half of the season.
Well, he shot it from 40%, all right, from the three over the course of the season. And there were patches where he was well over 50% from the three-point line. But if the Bullets in NBL 26 get 80% of what Casey displayed last season, they're still ahead of the game, given that they have 2 other outstanding imports as well. Casey Prather, this guy is just a top person as well. He's a good teammate, and I look forward to another big season from him.
And you think that he'll be able to still find the role, as you say, with Jalen Adams and Freeman Liberty coming in as well. They will want more of the ball. You think that Casey is at an age and stage where he'll be able to make it work for him?
Well, I think he'll be able to get better shots this season with perimeter guys that he's playing with. Jalen Adams is highly creative. Javon Freeman Liberty, we've seen some brilliance from him in the preseason. So I think Casey also, with a little bit of pressure off of him, he knows that he can play again at a high level in the NBL. So that provides you a sense of comfort, a sense of security, which can aid you playing better.
He's been drinking from the fountain of youth. Just keep swigging from there, Casey. It's been working for you. We're into single digits now. Number 9.
Number 9. This guy had a tremendous NBL 25. It is Tyler Harvey of the championship-winning Illawarra Hawks. First team All-NBL and NBL 25. Big shot taker, big shot maker, won championship series game 2 in John Cain Arena. One of the greatest clutch shot makers in NBL history, averaged 17 a game last season. And the thing, I've said it before, the thing I love about Tyler is he continues to get more intelligent about the way he plays basketball. This guy's an underrated superstar if there ever could be one.
And you've spoken about this a lot over the last 2 or 3 years, Derek, how he's evolved and it talks to his IQ. There was a point where Tyler needed X amount of shots per game. Now it seems like he's more about quality over quantity. Is that fair?
It's 100% accurate, and I think a lot of the credit also goes to head coach Justin Tatum, who I think was quite direct and clear early in his coaching ascension as to what he was looking for from Harvey. Now, last season, he was also assisted by the brilliance of Trey Kell, and I thought that made Harvey's game really shine. But no Trey Kell. Some situations have changed at the Hawks. Now that intelligence that I mentioned before is going to be challenged because he'll have to find a way to adapt to this new retooled Illawarra Hawks lineup.
So it's going to be either Will Hickey or Ja'Cory McLaughlin who will be his point guard. Does that mean that Tyler Harvey at the 2 is best for him and also best for Illawarra?
Well, I think they have some versatility, and this has been another one of the strengths of Tyler Harvey is that you can play him off the ball in the 2, but then he's really good in the pick and roll with the ball. You know, he can initiate your offense. He's pretty good pushing the ball in transition. The versatility and his physical size at about 6'4", he is perceived to be a smaller player, but the reality is he's got excellent length out on the basketball floor, and we know he has a great sense for the moment.
And as we record this, we're about a week out from the season. He's not Aussie Tyler yet, but he's going to be pretty close. There's a time very soon where we think Tyler Harvey will become a local.
Yeah, what's the holdup? He needs to call Bryce Cotton and get in touch with Cotton's immigration lawyer. But also, Jack, and this is the final point on Tyler Harvey, he is a very durable basketball player. Illawarra played 37 games in NBL 25. Tyler Harvey started in all of them.
I love Tyler Harvey being inside the top 10. I think sometimes he gets a little bit underrated and a little bit walked past, but he shouldn't be. To number 8.
Welcome back to the league. Number 8, Joe Lawal Achul Jr. Now, you talk about players that pay attention to this top 10 list. Whoa, boy, I expect to get some type of contact from JLA. But this guy is dangerous, Jack. There's a reason why his services were requested all over the world, and the Perth Wildcats fought so hard to get him back. He has in one big movement, changed the way the Perth Wildcats season looks and the prospects for the Red Army. This is a championship-level big man, a guy who is probably a second-tier MVP candidate just by default, but if his play improves, he can be in the All-NBL first team. He can put it on the floor. He can shoot the 3. He is super aggressive on the offensive end and a very underrated defender as well.
Is he the difference between Perth potentially winning the championship and not?
No doubt. Perth were desperate at one point during the offseason and the free agency period. They had one import spot left, and they were short a point guard and a big man. Securing the services of JLA has really given Perth the opportunity to ensure that they make another deep postseason run. Make no mistake about it, when you look at local bigs, JLA and Will Magnay, they are the standard. And for Perth to get him, it was a huge acquisition.
So we touched on Perth a little bit earlier with Christian Doolittle. With all of the personnel that they've got, how does JLA make it work for him? Because this is a guy that likes the ball in his hand, and this is a guy that likes to be, deservedly so, a priority at the offensive end.
Well, I think John really does a really good job of assembling an offensive structure, and we saw it last year with Bryce Cotton, where Bryce Cotton had his best season as a pro, in my opinion. So there's no reason why John really won't look at JLA and figure out a way to get the best out of him. And here's the thing. Coaches sometimes get caught in the mix where, oh, I need you to play defense before I get you in the offense. You must understand what turns each player on. Get JLA shots, get him involved offensively, and he'll pay you back on the defensive end.
The last one, which is kind of a bit of an intangible when it comes to JLA, is that in the last few years when we've seen him, he's always had that eye on the NBA. He's always wanted to use the NBL respectfully as a stepping stone to get to the NBA. And then he had his eyes on a big deal last time we saw him. Do you think this time around, now that he's a little bit older and perhaps a little bit more settled, that'll be better for him and his mindset, that he's totally locked into where he needs to be here?
100%. You go out, you get a chance to play in different parts of the world, and whether the experience is good for the player or bad for the player, I think there is a sense of appreciation for returning back to Australia, playing in the NBL. Obviously, the payday doesn't suck, so he feels good about everything that he can go to in Perth, and they've built a championship-level basketball team.
Very, very excited to see JLA back in the NBL for NBL 26. Number 7 on the list.
Number 7, this is a tough one, Jack. Chris Golding of Melbourne United. One of the best shooters of the basketball we have ever seen in the NBL. At 36 years old in NBL 25, he averaged more points than he had in over a decade. It was a tremendous performance and something that probably didn't get the kudos that it deserved. He is an elite shooter of the basketball, and for that reason, it is always hard to keep him out of a top 15 list. Melbourne United, they continue to win. This team ultimately is based around the brilliance of Chris Goulding on the offensive end.
It's funny, you have to stop yourself sometimes when we're doing commentary of Melbourne games, because historically, Derek, we've looked at a quarter-time stat sheet or a half-time stat sheet and said, Chris Goulding's only had 4 attempts, that's not enough. But we've been burnt too many times now where he can catch fire in a third or fourth quarter. And is that part of his evolution as well? Is that he's happy to let the game come to him a little bit more?
Yeah, and that's part of maturing as a player, understanding that as you get older, you can still strike high points. You can have those big moments where we saw him last season really light up the Perth Wildcats in John Cain Arena. But the frequency and the realistic expectation of the occurrence of those moments must be lowered and saved for when you need them most, which leads me to another point, Jack. They've got to find out a way to keep Chris Goulding healthy for the championship series. And I think the addition of Tyson Walker and Jesse Edwards and Milton Doyle will assist Goulding greatly in that regard.
So you think he'll be okay still to get the looks that he wants without Matthew Dellavedova?
No discredit to Dellavedova, but Tyson Walker is a very good point guard. And I think you're going to find that Chris Goulding gets outstanding looks this season. And we know when he gets open looks, he puts that ball in the bucket.
I'm just starting to do the maths of the names that haven't been mentioned as yet. There's a few that are stiff to miss out. A few we haven't spoken about. The last on this episode, number 6 in Derek Rucker's top 15.
Oh, this man always creates a lot of stir, and people say I favor him. But look, number 6 is Xavier Cooks of the Sydney Kings. Xavier Cooks is the multi-talented Sydney Kings forward who poses nightmare matchups for teams right across the competition. He's an exceptional defensive player, plays multi-role aspects on the offensive end, and I think he's one of the top net rating guys in the NBL. And you look at his advanced metrics, the guy is a top 15 player easily. He's one of the first guys I penciled in. It was just a matter of where you place him. Last season, I had him at number 1 coming into the preseason. I've backed that expectation down on him this season. He sits at number 6.
Why the mixed opinions on Xavier Cooks from fans? And you're right, every time we do this list in the comments section, which is not always the gauge, but the fans want to have their say. But Xavier Cooks seems to be really polarising. Why do you think that is?
I don't know why it is. I think so many people believe that just because he plays for the Kings that he gets some type of added benefit from the media, but that is not true. And I think if you really break down Sydney Kings' game film and you pair it with the statistics, you'll see that he is a supremely effective basketball player, and his versatility on both ends of the floor really point to that. And I think this season, with the addition of Kendrick Davis and Matthew Dellavedova, where Cooks' role can be not significantly reduced, but refined in a manner which really brings out his strong assets, I think you're going to see even a better season and more winning plays and winning basketball from Xavier Cooks.
I did wonder that when we were preparing for this show, that one of Xavier Cooks' strongest assets is as a 4 guys to be able to bring the ball up the floor and to get downhill. He's an impossible matchup in that scenario. Are you at all concerned that between Dellavedova and Kendrick Davis, he won't have those same opportunities to bring the ball up the floor?
No, I don't think so, because a lot of times Cooks can get it off the glass. He's one of the best rebounders in the league. He gets it off the glass, he pushes it. The Sydney Kings are a very good defensive unit. They create a lot of turnovers, so there's opportunities for high transition basketball with Cooks being the leader of that. Dellavedova and Davis can just get out and run the floor. Also, they finally got a big. Tim Suarez is going to open up a lot of opportunities also for Xavier Cooks, because he is a true big and he can also step out and shoot the floor. And we know how effective Xav is putting the ball on the deck and getting to the rim.
So there it is, 15 through 6 in Derek Rucker's top 15. Next episode is 5 through 1. Just on the names that we've seen, where do you think the most feedback's going to come?
Oh, I think the Xavier Cooks and Zylan Cheatham, I think those two are going to cause a little bit of a stir. But look, I did my best, and I'm happy with this list.
I think keep your DMs open, because I think one big guy from Perth, Joe Lawal Jr., he's going to have some thoughts about that one.
No doubt.
Don't turn your DMs into private, Derek. You've got to stand up and take it like a man. Next episode, we will be back with 5 through 1 in Derek Rucker's Top 15. Don't forget, jump on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and nbl.com.au. Leave us your thoughts, and we will catch you next time for 5 through 1 in Derek Rucker's Top 15.